everyone. Hi, Sean. I'm Miki, and I'm in Halifax, Nova Scotia, in Canada. And this is my camera flip video that I'm making in honor of Sean's 6th anniversary on BookTube. Congratulations, Sean, on 6 fantastic years. And thank you for always letting me have the opportunity to chat about books and reading on your channel. It's always a pleasure. It's something that I absolutely love, so thank you. I wasn't really sure. This is why this is so late. I apologize. I really wasn't sure what to talk about when submitting this video, but I really love Kim from Middle of the Book March's chatty videos. I love when she chats about anything bookish, and so I was thinking about those kinds of videos and then questions that I could pose and answer and whatever. I guess I could have done a book tag now that I think about it. Anyway, hindsight. Okay, so so I was actually talking with Jo Smith, commenter extraordinaire, the other day. She and I have been buddy reading short story collections since I did my first camera flip video. So thank you, Sean. Because had I not been reading with Jo Smith, I don't know what I would have done, because quite frankly, this reading experience with her, because it's ongoing, has definitely been one of the most rewarding buddy reading experiences I've ever had. So I really appreciate that. I appreciate you both. So, thank you. So she and I were chatting about whether or not we go to BookTube for book recommendations. And I said I don't, even though I watch a lot of BookTube, I don't go to BookTube for book recommendations. And that's primarily for 2 reasons. The first reason is I don't tend to read a lot of mainstream stuff. I don't tend to enjoy it. I always think I'm going to love it, and then I don't. So I just kind of go on a hunt for books that I think I'm going to like. And that's the second reason, because the big nerd in me loves to find books that I know I'm going to enjoy, or that I think I'm going to enjoy based on what I know about my reading tastes. Like when readathons come along, like Try September or Caribathon or Shorty September or Victober, it brings me great joy to go and find books to fit the prompts that I think I'm going to enjoy reading, to find books that I'm going to enjoy reading, that is, for those prompts. And that's part of the reading experience and the reading journey for me. So I really love doing that. That's not to say that I don't love hearing recommendations, and that I don't take book recommendations seriously should somebody recommend a book to me. And in fact, my partner influences a lot of what I read through his recommendations, but I like that part of the reading experience, finding those books. So when we were talking about that, when Jo and I were talking about if we go to BookTube for book recommendations, it led me to the question, does BookTube, so whether that's a booktuber, whether that's somebody on a booktuber's channel, like a guest, or a commenter, do people in the BookTube community influence what I read? Which I think is a different question. And I think the answer to that, at least for me, is definitely yes. Case in point would be Greg from Supposedly Fun. His recommendation of Disha Filia's short story collection, The Secret Lives of Church Ladies, is definitely a book that he talked about so much that I thought, okay, let me just go and see what this book is about. And if those short stories sound like something that I'm interested in, I'll pick it up. And I did, because they did sound interesting to me, and I loved the collection. Another example is Sean's bite-sized book chats. So, for example, when I watched episode 2, let me make sure I have this information in front of me. I don't want to get this stuff incorrect because it's important. So, on episode 2, when Sharon was talking about The Ardent Swarm, I looked into that book and I did end up reading it, and I quite enjoyed that reading experience and the book itself. In episode 10, when Amy talked about Unsheltered by Claire Maletta, which is dystopic Australian fiction, I thought, okay, this is perfect for my partner. This is right up his alley. And I got that for him as a gift, and he loved it. And then most recently, when Chris was on the show, the episode, which would have been episode 58, she talked about Shutter by Ramona Emerson. I picked that up recently and really enjoyed that. So the answer to that question is BookTube, that sphere definitely influences what I read. But then it also made me think, because I watched another BookTube video, surprise, surprise. And in this BookTube video, the BookTuber was doing a book haul and hadn't read most of the books that they had hauled. But after the haul was finished, this wasn't you, Sean, but this BookTuber asked viewers not to leave negative comments about the books that had been hauled in the comment section. And I thought this was really interesting, primarily because it made me think, am I influenced by someone else's opinion of a book? In the sense that, would somebody else's opinion of a book determine, negate, whatever, what I think about a book? So I guess to put it more nicely, and I've written it out so it's more comprehensive, does BookTube influence what I like? Do BookTubers, anybody who's reviewing, whatever, does that influence what I like? And the answer is no. I think part of that is because most of what I like in a book, most others don't, so almost irrelevant, isn't it? But in addition, I don't tend to enjoy what most people enjoy who are on BookTube. So it doesn't, for me. That being said, I'm very curious if other people feel the same way. And by all means, please answer either of those two questions. So the first question, and I'm going to read it so I don't mess it up, is, does BookTube influence what you read? And the second question is, does BookTube influence what you like or what you don't like? And why, if that's the case, why? Please share, because I think it's an interesting question and one that really made me think about how influencers or how the BookTube community really influences me. But like I said, I'm really weird, and the reality is I know what I like in books the best, so I'm going to go to that no matter what anybody recommends. A close second would be my partner, and he definitely influences me. And so I'll share a few books that he's influenced with me. This is a BookTube channel, and I haven't shown any books on the channel yet. Not physical ones anyway. So these are all thank you to my partner. So he picked up Prisoners of Geography by Tim Marshall. This is primarily about geopolitics, globalization. There is some history in here, so if those kinds of things tickle your fancy, maybe check that out. No, this is not a book recommendation video. Just don't. But influenced, right there, me. He also picked this up and recommended that I read it after he had finished it. And this is Oneness versus the 1%, Shattering Illusions, Seeding Freedom by Vandana Shiva with Kartiki Shiva. I apologize, I don't know if that's how you pronounce this contributor's name, and I didn't look it up. But this is fantastic. This is about globalization, the economy, obviously class, but how that impacts so many different things. The environment, economy, race, so many other socioeconomic issues. Nope, not recommending. Just gonna stop there. I keep forgetting. And then the last book that I was influenced with is Sam Cooper's Willful Blindness. So, Willful Blindness, How a Network of Narcos, Tycoons, and CCP Agents Infiltrated the West. Now, this is a massive book. It's big. I haven't read this yet, but he definitely influenced me, and I purchased it, or he purchased it. It doesn't matter. We share our books. But he definitely influences me. So, I'm definitely somebody who is easily influenced, as that stack of books demonstrates. But I am interested in hearing what you all have to say. So short and sweet. I do have lots of other books I could talk about, but I don't want to recommend anything. Although, if I was to, well, I guess you can just let me know. Sean, do you mind if I ask this question? I do have a stack of short books here. I could, in honor of Shorty September, talk about those. But, I mean, as always, most of the books that I enjoy are never mentioned on BookTube. And in fact, the only one that I think might have was mentioned by Comfy Cozy Up. And she read it, this book, in... why did she read it? Oh, for Cribathon. I'll just mention it. I've mentioned it. It's so terrible. This is why I don't BookTube. Okay, so this is Wilson Harris's Palace of the Peacock. It is part of his Guyana Quartet. Wilson Harris is Guyanese, and this was published in 1960. This release from Faber came out in 2021. Better check that. I don't want to misspeak, even though I'm almost 100% positive it's 2021. It is. So this came out in 2021. I purchased it not knowing it was part of a collection of works, and there is a bind up for the Guyana Quartet. I'm very tempted to purchase that. This was really good. This is if you liked Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness, perfect book for Victober, you might enjoy Palace of the Peacock. There are ghosts. This is dark, but it's really good. Not a recommendation, though. Not a recommendation. Okay, that's it. Sean, happy 6th anniversary. Everyone, thank you so much for letting me chat your ears off. And I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, morning, wherever you may be. Thanks, Sean. Congratulations. Bye.